How are you feeling today? Do you feel fulfilled in life? The show will begin in 4 minutes. Are you ready? When was the last time you felt betrayed? When was the last time you felt loved? The show will begin in 3 minutes. Are you ready? What did it feel like to be in love? What is the most painful part of being in love? The show will begin in 2 minutes. Are you ready? Are you ready to be transformed? Are you ready to make a change? The show will begin in 1 minute. I hope you're ready. The show will begin in exactly 30 seconds. Get ready. Do you constantly get manipulated by men over and over and over again? Well, what if I told you it doesn't have to be like that if you choose to learn the psychological tactics that men are using on you. If you want to learn what those tactics are, then join me on today's show, where we'll be discussing how to stop being manipulated by men. That way you can avoid ever being taken advantage of by a man ever again. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so that I know you're here present and actively participating. So good to see you and so good to spend this amazing, it's Friday afternoon for me. I don't know what time on Friday it is for you, but that's the time for me, okay? I'm on the EST time. How are you guys doing today? Who we got up in the TikTok chat? We got Erica? Okay. We got M here, Ali here. We got Beat here, Dan here. VR is here. Soul is here. What's that? Beatrice? Okay. Kayla is here as well. And of course, we have our moderator, Scotty, Charisse, and SH here. Welcome all you beautiful people in the TikTok chat. Who we got over in the YouTube chat? Because you know I'm live in two places at once. I'm everywhere at one time, okay? We got Null, one of our most participating members of the classroom here. We got Mary here. We got Maria here. We got Tina here. Tracy Niles, one of our amazing channel members. Olga is here, one of our amazing channel members. Crystal is here, one of our amazing people in the chat. Nicole is here, one of our amazing channel members. And Great Fortune Cookie, another one of our amazing, generous, kind, and participating channel members. Welcome all you beautiful people. So good to see you here. So good to have you part of the show. Let's get started on point number one. I don't want to waste any more time. Okay. Did this board get taller or did I get shorter? Okay, that's weird. Anyways, let's get started today. So I want to really be sharing with you guys this board actually feels taller. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, I want to share with you guys a couple of tactics that men will use, and then we're also going to kind of talk about how to counteract those common tactics that men are going to be using, okay? Because sometimes when you're going through it, it doesn't feel like a manipulation tactic, but I'm going to break it down for you how these can become manipulation tactics in themselves, okay? So we're going to start off with number one. And point number one has to do with your tribe. So we're going to draw you here. And we're going to have things like, let's say, F here, right? All these different Fs are going to stand for, there's going to be some fam here, right? Another F here for a friend. Another one here for a fam. Oops. Another one here for a friend. And then you're going to have the man here, right? Let's say the man that you're talking to or the man that you're dating. Now, there's something very interesting happening in a lot of relationships that I want to make you aware of, okay? Anytime you get into a relationship, okay, this should just be something that happens in your everyday life that you make sure to hold down for yourself. You need to have a tribe. What does a tribe really mean? I'm not just talking about casual friends that you say hi and bye to. I'm not talking about friends that you go to the club with or girls that you just like their Instagram pictures. I'm talking about a tribe of people in your life that you know you can actually count on to be there for you even if it doesn't necessarily benefit them, okay? Notice I said even if it doesn't benefit them. So those friends of yours that are girlfriends that you just like to get ready and look hot with and go to the club and shake your butt to Sexy Red, that's not the type of friend that I'm talking about, okay? I'm talking about real friends that will actually be here for you in a time of need. This is very important for you to have and be aware who those people are. Now, it doesn't have to be this many people, okay? It can just be 3 people, right? Including friends and family members. We just need a support group for you. Someone's paying attention, Marie's paying attention, right? We just need a support group of people for you that you can rely on to be there for you throughout life, okay? There's a very important reason for that because one of the major manipulation tactics of men is that they want to isolate you, okay? Meaning they want to take you from being over here with your tribe of people and they want to bring you over to their side where you can be by his side, right? And you can be isolated from all of these people. Why? Because all of these people here, they will be able to advise you, okay? And check you, okay? I'll even add that as well. right? They will be able to advise you and check you because they will know you, know what you're about, know who you are. They'll also know what you deserve. And as they're seeing how the relationship with this man is progressing or deteriorating, they'll be able to let you know, hey, I love you and I care about you. I'm noticing this is happening a lot in your relationship. I'm noticing he's treating you very badly or very poorly. I'm noticing that you're starting to change as a human being. The person that had so much energy and brightness and sunshine, you seem like you have no more of that anymore. And this change is starting to worry me, right? These people in your tribe will be able to keep you grounded in your relationships as you meet these different men. Simultaneously, it will become even more difficult for men to pull the wool over your eyes and start manipulating you in a way where they're gaslighting you. And you start to believe in to yourself that, hey, his issues or his problems or his actions aren't really issues or problems. Because when you're isolated with a man away from your support group here, and he does something wrong, let's say he cheats on you, he can come back to you and say, look, the only reason I cheated on you is because you haven't been doing your job in the relationship. You haven't been taking care of me. You haven't been calling me. I was going through a thing because my mother had a thing and she was in the hospital, so it was stressing me out and you weren't there for me. And because you weren't there for me and my mother was in the hospital, I just decided to call up my ex because I knew that she would answer the phone. And when she answered the phone, I went to her house and then randomly I just happened to, trip and fall. And then my pee-pee slipped inside her vajayjay. Okay. And it sounds silly when I'm saying it here on the show, but when you're in love with the guy and you have no support group to kind of tell you how foolish and silly that is, now all of a sudden when he's telling you that information, you start thinking to yourself, well, I guess, I have been pretty busy and maybe I haven't been able to be there for him. And maybe I should have been able to answer the phone and not been at work, even though that work pays me. Okay? And you start to gaslight yourself and believe in his stories, believe in his gaslighting, and it starts to become harder to tell the truth from fiction because you're so isolated from everyone else that loves you that you don't know what to believe anymore. And so you just end up having to believe what he tells you to believe. And so this situation can spiral out of control very, very quickly if you do not make sure to keep your tribe present and close to you at all times. So let me add another caveat. Don't just have your tribe present. Let them know what's going on with you and your love life, okay? How things are progressing or not progressing. As you start to become more intimate and closer with this guy, your tribe should know what's going on, right? To a current up-to-date status of how these things are happening, where he's taking you, how he's treating you, what he's saying to you, right? I'm not saying you got to trauma dump everything on your friends and family, but they should be up to date. At least your tribe should be up to date. Because your tribe is going to, as they're up to date and they know what's going on, they'll be able to advise you, give their 2 cents to you. And not that you have to take every single one of their advice, but if you get advice or you get 2 cents from enough of these people in your tribe, you're going to start noticing patterns. For example, if you have a guy who's very secretive, let's say he goes out to the bar on weekends, gets blackout drunk, and he always sleeps over at his best friend's house. Okay? And you can never reach him on the weekends. And you start telling this to enough of your friends. You might think to yourself, oh, I like this guy. It's not really that big a deal. I'm not really that worried about it. But as you tell this to your tribe of people, they start advising you and telling you, hold on here. You're telling me that the guy you like is going out every single weekend? Yeah, he's going out every single week. And he's getting blackout drunk? Yeah, blackout drunk. He likes to have fun with his friends. And where does he stay? At his boy's house. Why does he stay at his boy's house? Oh, he just likes staying there. How far is his boy's house from his house? Maybe about 10 minutes. And where is the bar that he usually goes to? Probably about, 8 to 9 minutes from his place. So which is closer? Is his boy's place closer to his place, right, from the club? Or is his place closer to the club than his boy's place? And then you start thinking to yourself, wait, actually, that doesn't make sense. His place is closer to the club than his boy's place is to the club. Why would he go to his boy's place after getting blackout drunk instead of just going back to his place. And you see, these are the type of amazing things that your tribe can help you come to realizations of, right? Because when you're in it and you're isolated, it's very hard to think through all of those things and follow that logic train. But your tribe, who's not in it and not isolated into it, they'll be able to point out things that are inconsistent or don't make sense. Then when you start to realize those things, you'll say, oh, that literally doesn't make any sense. That obviously is a lie or a cover up, but I didn't even think of that. It's very important to have those people in your life. These should be platonic friends, so girlfriends, not men, all right? And these should also be family members. If they're family members, then they can be men, okay? So the reason I say that is because we want them to have no vested interest in anything else except your happiness, right? Not some sort of interest in getting you single so that they can be with you. That's why I say no men, okay? At least no straight ones. Does that make sense to all of you so far, and why that's very, very important? It's super important. Probably one of the most important parts of not getting manipulated by men. You need to have that tribe of people, okay, that you can trust and talk to. All right. Let's hop into our point number 2. It's Friday, chat. It's Friday. It's a good day today. Okay. Let's hop into point number 2. And this one, some of you are not going to like. I'll be honest with you. You ain't going to like this one when we talk about this one, all right? All right. So for point number 2, we're going to be discussing money. And I need to be very clear on something, okay? Money is good. I want you to be with a man with money, okay? And I want you to have, all the success getting you a rich man. However, this can become a very bad situation very quickly if you're not careful. So let me kind of break this down for you, how things might go wrong if you're not careful. So we're going to have what we can describe here as a scale, okay? And let's start this scale off on this end. Right? This end will have independence, and this end will have dependence, okay? So on each of these ends of this scale is 2 extremes, right? Being very independent and being very dependent. Now, let's say for the sake of argument, when you start dating a man, you're over here, okay? So you're closer to this part of the scale, right? This is you, where you're fairly independent, right? You got your own things going on, your own friends, your own places to hang out, your own money, your own job, all of that good stuff. You can pay for whatever you need to pay for your lifestyle. You buy your own clothes and all of that good stuff. So you start off dating a guy and you're pretty independent. But what happens down the road is one day you meet a guy and he's really nice and friendly, but he's also a millionaire. And because he's a millionaire, he drives a nice Lamborghini. Let's say he drives an orange Lamborghini. He likes to take you out to fancy places, fancy dinners. He likes to take you to Nobu. He likes to buy you fancy gifts and necklaces and purses. You got your Chanel'd up, okay? The big one, not the little one. And so you go from being independent to now that you're with this super rich man with a lot of resources and a lot of money. He starts saying, hey, I'm going to buy you some more gifts, right? And I want to take you more places that you've never been. So slowly but surely, you start moving along, right, into the place of dependence, because now he's taking you places that you wouldn't regularly go if you weren't with him, because those are places that would be outside of your budget. Okay, and then now he says, okay, I like getting you some gifts and I like taking you to these fancy places, but I also want to start doing some things for you. I think I'm going to start paying for your car note because I really like you so much. And so slowly but surely you move a little bit more into dependence because you're like, whoa, you like me so much that you're willing to pay my car note, right? You're willing to pay my car monthly payment because of how much you like. I mean, sure, that's such a weight off my shoulders, okay? And then as time goes on, he says, baby, you know you're my baby girl and you know how much I like you. I think that I want you to be closer to me because you know I'm all over the place. And I think it would be best for you if I buy you or get you this apartment that's closer to me. It is like $3,000 a month, right, for rent. And I know that's a little bit out of your budget, but don't worry, I'll pay for your rent, okay? I'll be the one to pay for this apartment. I want you to be closer to me because of how much I care about you and how much I like you, okay? Now, you've went from a situation where you were pretty independent when you started off in this relationship, okay, and when you met him. And slowly but surely, as time went on, because he's so rich with so many resources and he's offered you so much, he says, please, I just need you to do this for me and I will give you that, right? I'll give you an apartment. I'll pay for your car. I'll pay for this. I'll pay for that. Just stop working. I want you to be closer to me. Don't worry about going to work. I'm going to pay for your stuff. You can just rely on me. And you're thinking in your mind, oh, this is perfect. This is exactly what I envision because I always wanted to be a housewife. I always wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. So to have a rich man who will take care of me, this is an absolute dream scenario. But then it can become a nightmare. Because as you become more and more and more dependent, now one day, let's say for the sake of example, he wakes up and he says, look, I really like you. I really do. And I like spending time with you. But you know, I'm all over the place. I'm in New York one day. I'm in Miami another day. I'm in Miami a lot of days. I'm in LA one day. I'm, traveling, business, lots of clients. And so I was thinking and just, really, thinking about life and connecting with my soul and my spirit. It's really been speaking to me that I think I need to have a girlfriend in each one of these cities. I got to have a girlfriend in New York. I got to have a girlfriend in Miami. I got to have a girlfriend in LA. Because that's the way that my life should be lived, where I'm able to give as much love as I possibly can. But I'm going to keep paying for your apartment. You like that apartment, don't you? It's really nice. It's got a loft and it's got a view of this city. I know you like that apartment, okay? I'm going to keep paying for that apartment, but I do want to have some other girlfriends. How do you feel about that? And then you're thinking to yourself, well, how am I going to pay for this apartment if you don't pay for it? Because I can afford this, right? And my name's on the lease or whatever the case may be. How am I going to pay for my car note if you don't pay for it? I don't have no damn job. Okay, I quit it because you wanted me to be close to you, and now I'm close to you, and now you're saying you want another girlfriend? Sure, whatever. And just that fast, you've been manipulated. Congratulations. The reason I say that is because while you might think to yourself, a man would never pay for my apartment, he would never pay for my car note. Even in a less extreme example, this happens because men who have money understand that money can easily control you if you allow it to, and if you're unaware of how it will, because they know that those resources and the hypothetical situation in which they will be protecting and providing for you, even though they're just your boyfriend and they could break up with you over text, is enough to entice you to say, okay, I'm going to put aside everything that I wanted, everything that I was doing, everything that I was pursuing for my life, and be with you and commit myself completely to you. But the problem with that is we live in 2024, okay? It was about to be 2025. And in the 21st century, in the world that we live in today, a man can pick up his iPhone or his Android and send you a couple word text message and end the relationship with you in an instant. And so when you give up your entire life for a person who can end the commitment to you in an instant and take all of that investment back and away from you, what are you going to do now? Right? Because there's nothing protecting you in a situation where you're his girlfriend and you allow him to do everything for you and you don't do anything for yourself, and now you've just been controlled by money. Subsequently, you can easily get manipulated by money because now that he's doing so much for you and you're relying so much on him and you're so dependent on him, he can now present to you any situation he wants. He can do a 180-degree switch up. And now what are you going to say to that? Nothing. Because you have to accept it. You have no other options. It's kind of like a version of isolating you. But instead of isolating you, emotionally from the people that care about you, it's isolating you financially from your own way of supporting yourself. Because the more dependent I can get you to be on me financially, the more I can pull the rug from underneath you and totally switch up the proposition here, who I am. And when I show you the real, you're already in a position where you're relying on me to do everything for you. And because you can no longer sustain yourself. Okay, and so subsequently, you lose a lot of your leverage if you end up being too dependent on men because of money. I want you to marry a rich man. I want you to be with a man who has so much money, it's coming out of his eyeballs. But I don't want you to give up your own life. I don't want you to give up your own ability to earn for yourself and sustain yourself. Because whenever a guy tries to switch up on you or act weird or change things up, I want you to be very comfortable and okay with withdrawing from him, taking a step back, and allowing him to make a choice on whether or not he wants to treat you well. Because if he chooses not to treat you well, then you will gladly walk away. They're always, I'm telling you, I know you guys hate it when I say relationships are like war, but there's always a battle going on for power. And if you allow men to have too much power over you too quickly, you'll find yourself in a position where you're the one being manipulated, okay? And taken advantage of, right? Doesn't mean that you have to work a job where you make $1 million and you got to be a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. But you should be in a position where you're always comfortable letting go of a man, right? If he chooses not to show up for you, how you expect him to show up for you, okay? You don't gotta be the most boss, independent woman ever. You just have to be able to support yourself, that no man can give that to you or take that away from you. That way, when you finally do find the partner that's willing to invest in you long-term and make you a wife, not a girlfriend, make you a wife, then you start saying to yourself, I can now be a stay-at-home wife, not a stay-at-home girlfriend, okay? And not even a stay-at-home fiance, a stay-at-home wife with an actual ring and a marriage certificate, okay? Does that make sense to all of you so far and why that's very, very important, all right? Let's move on to point number 3, okay? I know I'm going fast, but these are very, very important, right? I hope it makes sense. Someone said, but he can't take back the Birkin. I mean, theoretically, he can't take back the purses that he buys you. But trust me, when guys get you a lot of things and they know they want to get you those things to take advantage of you, they will find a way to withhold things so that they can get what they want from you, especially when push comes to shove. All right. Number 3. Oh, boy. I'm so glad we're getting to have a conversation about this. Make sure I spelled that right. I'm so happy that we can have a conversation about emergencies. Oh boy. This is one of the worst things that happens in relationships, okay? Let me just go through my point here. So, emergencies are very tricky. So, you start off with a fight, right? And when you start off with this fight, you're trying to get somewhere very specific after this fight. You're trying to get to a place where after you fight with a man, you want to feel what we can describe as the road to resolve, right? You want to feel resolved in your relationship with this man, where both of you are in agreement what the next steps are, how to solve this thing, how both of you can feel better, okay? And how both of you can move forward in this relationship, right? Nothing strange or abnormal about wanting resolve, okay? We all want resolve after we have a fight with our partner. But here's the thing, and this is one of the major manipulation tactics of men. See, when you have a situation with a guy and he has no intention of actually solving this situation, whether it be because he doesn't actually feel sorry about it, whether he feels because he doesn't actually care about you, really, or this relationship, what's going to happen is this. He will divert this situation from going into the direction, right? From flowing into the direction of going towards resolve. and he'll divert this situation to an emergency. What do I mean by that? And I'll give you an example of what I mean. So for example, let's say a guy that you have been talking to or dating, all of a sudden is not showing you a lot of consistency. He's being very hot and cold with you, okay? And flopping on dates. He's promising to take you out on a Thursday, and all of a sudden he just disappear on the Thursday. And you're starting to get sick of this very inconsistent behavior. And so let's say you guys have a conversation about it, and you let him know that you're really upset about this inconsistent behavior, right? He then, instead of addressing the situation and apologizing for what he did and coming up with a course of action for both of you to feel good moving forward, he instead doesn't respond to you addressing what has been bothering you. And instead, he waits, let's say a week's time. And after a week, he says, "Oh my God, you'll never guess what happened. I lost my job. And I'm literally sitting on the side of the road right now, and I'm having a mental breakdown. I really need someone to talk to, and I just don't know who else to turn to. If you could maybe get yourself an Uber to my place, okay, on your own account, not mine, and if you could be in the lobby and come right up to my building. And maybe if you could lay yourself down in my bed and take your pants off while you're at it, okay? Take your pants off and open your legs wide open. I need someone to talk to. But you have to be naked. I need someone to talk to so bad. I've never been this sad. My job is gone, my money is gone, my everything is gone, I'm melting. And I just need you in my bed with your legs spread wide open, and then I just need to talk to you. This is the thing that men will do, right? They'll paint you an emergency, how bad their life is going, how much they need you desperately, and no one else can solve this problem but you. You're the only person they can rely on, and everyone else has abandoned them. Because they want to guilt you into believing that it's necessary for you to be here for him now and forget everything that you wanted to address. Everything that he wasn't doing, all the issues that you had with him, everything that he wasn't showing you that needs some sort of resolution, okay? He doesn't want you to actually address those things. He wants you to put those on the side, come see him, because what he's hoping is this will divert your attention away from the resolution to the emergency. And by the time you start dealing with the emergency, he'll just resume the relationship from the emergency, right? So when you come over thinking, oh, I'm going to take care of you or have a talk with you because of you losing your job, yeah, you'll talk about the job for the first 10 minutes. And then he'll say, yeah, I was just hoping you could comfort me by watching Netflix with me in the bed. And then by the time he watches Netflix with you in the bed, he starts kissing and touching on you, you sleep together, and then all of a sudden you're back to square one. Because the issues that you had, the arguments that you had, the reasons that you were upset because he wasn't showing up for you how you expected him to show up for you, now have not been addressed, but you're back inside his bed, sleeping with him, having slept with him, and those things haven't been addressed. He hasn't made any changes. He hasn't even promised to make a simple change or even address the situation at all. It's like the situation literally disappeared, poof, into thin air. And now all of a sudden, you're back to square one, resuming the relationship as if nothing has happened. That's why men love using these emergencies to get you back on the hook, okay? It's almost like a fish, right? They're throwing their reel out because they see things aren't working out and you're starting to swim away. You're starting to realize things. And this emergency, it will be just perfect enough to reel you back in. And the really good manipulative men will know exactly what emergency they can tug on your heartstrings with to get you to believe in it and feel really sorry for him, that you feel it's necessary for you to contact him back and be there for him right then in this moment. I promise you, every single version of these emergencies will make you feel like you have to be there for him right now in this moment. There's no second chances. There's no late. They're going to make you feel like you got to take work off. They're going to make you feel like you got to leave your shift early. Okay? They're going to make you feel like you have to drop whatever you're doing at that moment to be there for them right now. Because the more urgency they can bring to the emergency, the easier it will make it for him to reel you back in, number one. And then by the time you get there, you forget everything that you wanted to address. And you also, this is why it's such a crazy manipulation tactic and it works in so many different ways. You also start to feel too guilty about the situation that he's dealing with to bring up any of your own issues, right? Because you had an issue that was here. And then he brought this emergency issue of his own, totally unrelated, that you felt was more important and more urgent than your issue. So now when you're going to tend to him because he lost his job, you feel really poopy about bringing up the fact that he hasn't been consistent with you and asking you out on dates and he's been flopping on you. Okay? You feel really poopy about that to the point where you're like, I don't even think this is appropriate for me to bring up, especially when you're dealing with something as tragic or traumatic as losing your job. I think it's more important that I'm here for you instead of addressing my own petty issues. You see how that works? Right? Now you've convinced yourself and gaslit yourself that your issue is irrelevant and unimportant, especially compared to his issue. So now you don't address it, you don't get resolve, you don't get a resolution, there is no change, there's not even a discussion about the issue in itself. And you're forced to move on without getting any of this. So guess what happens? The exact same thing over and over again. Okay? And guess what happens every time you have the exact same issue over and over again? There's a brand new emergency that takes priority over that issue. Okay? Once he realizes it works the first time and that manipulation tactic works on you, he will continue to use it over and over and over again whenever you have an issue. And your issues will never get addressed and never get resolved. And you'll be wondering how you're continuing to be in a relationship with a man who never resolves any of your 100 issues with him or this relationship. Okay? I see a lot of you, this resonates with you. Tell me in the chat, has that ever happened to you? Being with the guy and talking to him and then all of a sudden he brings you a crazy emergency. Chat, tell me in the chat. What's the emergency that you've heard from a guy? Okay, because I see clearly this has been resonating with some of you. Tell me what the emergency was. I'm actually very curious because I've heard a lot of different ones. I want to see if there's anyone that's like just really out of this world. I'm really curious. What are the emergencies that you've had a guy use on you to kind of divert your attention away from what's been important to you? Okay, someone says hungry, work. Got laid off, right? My mom fell, his health. He was stranded. Okay, wow. My ex faked a heart attack, wedding drama. Wow. He took too much mushrooms. Okay, wow. That's interesting. I have kidney stones. He isn't making enough money. Nicole T says, my grandma had a stroke. Oh my goodness. They come up with everything. Still getting over his mom's passing. All right. He got scammed about a car. Interesting. The police got him. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Of those situations that you guys have had and had to deal with men, how many times, or tell me, in that situation that you're talking about, did you end up finding out that that situation wasn't even exactly how he was actually describing it? Or was it actually a real situation? Tell me in the chat, because I am curious. I know sometimes it happens on both ends. Sometimes the situation actually is a real situation, and sometimes it doesn't even end up being exactly how he said it was, okay? So I'm curious what the kind of percentage is, okay? Someone said exaggerated, he lied, it never was, it was a lie, it was staged. Okay, wow. Completely fake, someone said, right? Someone said, honestly, I don't know, but I left it to his family, right? It was a real situation, but he always uses it to manipulate me. That can be another one, right? Because the situation can be ongoing. Like let's say his mother's health, but he manages to bring it up at a convenient time that can make it seem like an emergency, but his mother's health has always been an issue, right? I see a lot of people saying it was a lie. It's always exaggerated, right? Usually what the guys will do is they'll bring a situation that can possibly be seen as real. They'll either bring it up to level 10 and exaggerate it, or sometimes they'll just flat out lie about it, okay? And pretend like they just, didn't know that it was a complete lie or whatever the case may be until after you get there. So it's very interesting how guys do that. But that should tell you, with all of those different answers, that it's definitely a manipulation tactic and it's definitely done on purpose. It's not an accident if everyone's kind of experiencing something very similar. You understand what I'm saying? That's why I love having the chat, right? All right, let's hop into point number 4, okay? And this is kind of going to be the pushback, the fight against the manipulation tactic here. Okay, so I'm kind of going to explain something to you, but what I want to explain to you is actually how you're going to work against that manipulation tactic that men will use on you. All right, so I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of an analogy, and I want you to stay with me here because this analogy is going somewhere, and I want you to really soak this in order to understand how this works, okay? So we're gonna put a wall here. Please stay with me, chat, don't worry. We're really going somewhere here. All right, so chat, you know, my drawing, it's not, I can already tell, you guys are gonna laugh at me for this because you guys know I can't draw. So you know what, I'm not even gonna try and make this really nice, right? We're just gonna call these, right, a mouse here. So we got a mouse here. And we're gonna have multiple mouses, right? Multiple mouses, all these different mouses, all these different mouses, okay? The mouse, they look interesting, okay? So we have a mouse here, and we have a wall here, and then this right here, this is a little hole in the wall, okay? So the reason I bring this example up, and I know you're probably thinking, what does this have to do with relationships, Tomisin? Please explain this. Don't worry, we're getting somewhere. So I want us to imagine a scenario, right, in which you have a mouse problem inside your house. There's a mouse in the house. And in this mouse problem that you have, they're all burrowed behind a wall inside your kitchen, let's just say. And you can hear them scratching at the walls. You can hear them doing the little mouse sounds. And every now and again, they run across your kitchen and they cause havoc because everything spills and everyone runs and scrambles when the mouse starts running around the kitchen, okay? So they're causing problems in your house. But this hole in your wall is just small enough for a mouse to squeeze through it. So every time you see a mouse and you're chasing it around the house, they just run right back into that hole. And every time you bang on that hole thinking you're gonna get them out and start screaming and stuff like that, they just burrow themselves farther and farther and farther into that wall till you can't even reach them, okay? Right? And so you are now very, very upset. You wanna get rid of these mice inside your house. But the way to do that is not by making more noise and trying to dig them out of their hole, because they're just going to escape through your fingers and they're going to run all over the place and you won't you won't catch them. So what do? Instead? You create I don't know how to draw this. I'm just going to label it, okay? Right? So you create a mouse trap. Okay? You create a mouse trap and you set these mice trap up with blocks of cheese. Okay, we're gonna put your blocks of cheese here with little holes in it, right? And we're gonna have this other mouse trap here. And we're gonna put another piece of cheese here. You guys know my drawing not very good, it's okay. Don't worry, we get to the point. And so you got these mouse traps here, and you're hoping, right, eventually these mice will scurry along and they'll eventually bring themselves out of the hole when they get nice and comfortable, thinking that stuff is sweet because they think, oh my gosh, there's a piece of cheese there. This is perfect for me to eat. This is my chance because no one's around, no one's looking, there's no humans to scurry me along. I'm gonna grab this piece of cheese and bam! The mouse gets trapped within the trap, and you take the trap out with the mouse and you throw them out. And you do that over and over again until you get rid of all the mice in your house. So why do I bring up that analogy and example for you and visual? Because that's what you're gonna do with men, right? Especially the ones that you begin dating. You don't want to think to yourself that the best way for me to get the truth from a guy, right? Because one of the biggest issues and pieces of manipulation when it comes to dating, men, is that they will not be honest with you about who they truly are, what they're truly about, and what their real intentions are with you, right? They also definitely won't tell you the bad character traits of their personality that would make them unattractive to you, or would have you saying, damn, you're a red flag. I don't think I should even be entertaining dating you, okay? So, of course, they keep all of those things hidden and they want to present you this happy go lucky side of themselves that's really attractive that you'll be really into. They'll sell you a dream. So you want to take the same approach as the version of you that's in this situation if you were trying to attract mice to be able to exterminate them. You got to set traps, and the traps have to encourage the man to come out from hiding and feel like this is a safe place to talk about everything he wants to talk about and share his point of view because he finally has someone that agrees with him, that you can trap him and have him in a place where you're like, perfect, I got you. And I got the real information about you and your character. You didn't realize that you are revealing to me the truth about your personality and who you really are. And now that I have that information, I know I'm not going to be dating you. Okay? So what I want you to start doing is I want you to start, when you go on dates with men, especially at the very beginning, I actually want you to encourage their bad behavior. What I mean by encourage their bad behavior, stay with me. I want, when they're telling you stories about their life, especially when they start telling you stories about their exes and the way they treated them and how they did them dirty or whatever the case may be, I want you to put yourself in their shoes and start to align yourself with their perspective. So even if he tells you, and I know this is going to sound crazy, even if he tells you, yeah, so me and my ex, things weren't working out and I was really busy and she was really busy and we stopped seeing each other so much, and there was this girl at work that I met and we started building a relationship, and I slept with her and I knew it was a mistake, and I told my girlfriend, and we broke up because of it. And you say, oh, but you're a good person for telling her, right? Was it really on your heart? I can see why the distance would really tear you apart like that. How are you feeling? Like, what was going through your mind? Well, to be honest with you, even before that, when we were having an okay relationship, I was just thinking to myself that I'm just not ready for this. And I was just not ready to be with her. And I think I was just kind of looking for more. And, when she came into my life, I just felt this difference. Oh, I understand. So as you encourage, okay, I'm just playing a little bit of a dialogue role for you. As you encourage and you pretend as if you're seeing his point of view, I understand you. I'm not judging you. I don't even think you are wrong. The more you explain to me how you feel and your thought process, the more I understand you. I'm on your side. I see your perspective, okay? I know this sounds manipulative. That's because it is. Because we're trying to do something for you to avoid being manipulated by the man. The more you can make him feel seen and heard and understood, the more likely he is to confess some truthful information that he would never confess in a million years if he's seen that you weren't approving of what he was saying or what he had been doing. Because trust me, when guys go on dates with you and they get a sense that you don't like the information they're sharing with you, they begin to say, oh, I need to start withholding this information, okay? I need to stop talking so much. And the only person that actually loses in that scenario is you, because now you're not getting truthful information, you're getting a whole bunch of lies, and it makes it so much easier to manipulate you from the standpoint of them telling you what they think you want to hear instead of telling you the truth. And the only way you discover the truth is by actually having to experience the truth by being in a relationship with him, okay? And I know that part of your issue, a lot of times when you're dating men, from helping so many hundreds of you, is that you want to be sure that the guy you're dating is actually here for the right reasons, actually has the right intention, and actually is who he says he is. Part of that process is so difficult to decipher and decode information because you're not sure, is this the truth? Is this a lie? Is this some sort of exaggeration or manipulation of the situation to try and get me to like you? Right? And so you're constantly having to decode and figure that out on the fly. And so this is such an important part of doing that, right? Just like the mouse, you let them come out and feel comfortable being around. And when they feel comfortable in this place, they feel like nothing's coming to get them. That's the moment you trap them. Okay? And when I say trap them in this scenario, right? Obviously there's a mouse trap, but when I say trap them in this scenario, I mean you're saying in your mind, I got you. And I got you from the standpoint of I got the real information. Then when you go home, you can decide for yourself, oh, I'm not really gonna keep talking to this person. I'm not really gonna continue a relationship with this guy. I'm just gonna totally ignore him or ghost him or block him or whatever the case may be, okay? Because once you have the information, you can do whatever you want with it. And if you choose to say to yourself, this is not even the type of guy that I wanna be with, then you go ahead and make that choice and you don't feel sorry for it. But now, at least you're doing it from real, truthful information instead of being manipulated by it. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys so far? All right? Did that mousetrap analogy, did that connect? I hope it connected because I didn't want it to go too far into the deep end and you guys are like, what the hell is he talking about? All right? Let's hop into our point number 5. Okay? Point number 5. All right. It's going to sound kind of weird, but I never want you to overwork. Okay? What do I mean by overwork? We're going to do a little bit of an example situation so that we can understand what we mean by overworking. So let's say for the sake of example, right, you are working in the marketing department. Okay, so this is you here with your beautiful curly hair, all right, and your beautiful face, your beautiful smile, your beautiful butt, and then your beautiful legs, all right? Your butt's stretched out today, all right? Don't worry about them type of things. You've been doing some weird workouts. And then we got your arms here, okay? So you work in the marketing department. Then we have one of your coworkers here. She works copywriting, okay? So this coworker here, we're gonna make her ugly because she is one of your ugly coworkers. She don't look as good as you, all right? Her body ain't bodying. She's a big back and her legs ain't legging like yours, all right? This is one of your copywriting coworkers. And so your job in the marketing department, right, is to, let's just say, get more clicks, okay, views, we'll say brand awareness, right, things of that nature. And her job as the copywriter is to, let's just say for the sake of example, right, type, we'll say email, and we'll say spell check. Okay, so now let's say for the sake of example, your friend here, your coworker, is not very good at her job. And she's like a new copywriter, kind of young, you know, very Gen Z-ish. She likes to make TikToks more than she likes to work. So a lot of what you guys are doing here in this company is slipping because she's not doing her job as the copywriter, right? Because you have both of you at the time of your work, you're both doing 100% of your job, okay? Hopefully. And as time goes on, because you feel bad about the fact that she's so new here and you're such a seasoned veteran at this company that you're not only capable of doing your job, you're actually capable of doing her job as well, you start taking on her tasks. Okay? And so now you have her who was once doing 100% of her job, even though she was doing it really badly. Instead, now she's doing 10% of her job. And now, instead of you doing 100% of just your job, you're actually doing 190% of two jobs. Oops. Okay? Now, the reason I bring this up, okay, and I want us to all be on the same page about this, let me put a little line there. Okay? The reason I bring this up and I want us to be on the same page about this is because this can happen to you as well. Because in a scenario where you feel bad about the fact that the guy that you're dating, let's say for the sake of example, right, he's not pulling his weight in the relationship, okay? And you just think to yourself, oh, this guy, he doesn't know what he's doing. He is just one of these innocent men. He's a shy guy. He doesn't know how to come up to girls and approach them. He's an innocent, shy guy. He doesn't know how to ask girls on dates. He's a little bit, different than all the other guys. He just doesn't know. He's young. He's naive. And I know that in order for us to date each other, we're going to have to do certain things. I'm going to have to see him a certain amount of time. We're going to have to schedule this and do that. So I'm going to do his job for him, right? Because I believe in him and believe in the fact that one day he'll man up and do those things that I need from a man for me. He never does. And sometimes this can happen. This is like a really deep manipulation tactic. There's a term called weaponized incompetence. Okay? Now stay with me here. We're not going to get too far into psychology. I just want you to understand this term. This term of weaponized incompetence happens where, how in this situation here that I just gave you, your copywriter friend didn't know what to do, and so you felt bad, and so you took on her job, and she was only doing 10% of her job, and you were doing 190% of two jobs. See, smart men will manipulate you by pretending as if they don't know how to be a man. And in the process of pretending as if they don't know how to be a man, they're using weaponized incompetence to get you to overwork yourself to do his job of being a man for him. And so because you feel like, oh, the shy guys don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to ask me on dates. They don't know how to ask my number. They don't know how to be consistent. They don't know how to approach me. They don't know how to have conversation with me and progress a relationship forward. So I'll do that job for him. You'll actually have and encounter men who weaponize that incompetence to be able to gaslight you into thinking that the best thing for you to do rather than just walk away from him is to do his job for him. And it doesn't just happen in your relationship as it relates to dating him. It ends up happening in every other part of dealing with him. Whether it be how to wash the dishes, how to take out the trash, how to do this, how to pay bills, how to go to the bank, how to do anything. And then you can find yourself in a relationship with what you would consider like a child, because you don't even have the belief that that child you possess has no ability to be able to do anything for themselves. So it's weaponized incompetence because some guys will manipulate you into thinking and believing that they truly are incapable of doing anything, so that you then take on the role of doing everything, which is exactly why I advise you to never overwork yourself. Understand that the situation of the man coming to you and approaching you because he wants to get to know you means that he needs to take on his role of progressing the relationship and pursuing you if he really wants to be with you. And at any point, if he, comes to the realization that he is not capable, whether it be mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, to be able to do his job as a man and pursue you as he should as a man, then that means he doesn't get to have access to you, very plain and simple. It doesn't mean that you're going to feel sorry for him and then try and do his job for him, okay? Right? Because some men will come to you and they'll say things like, oh, you deserve so much better than me. I'm not able to do anything for you because I don't have the right job. I don't have the right money. I'm just not smart enough. I'm just not capable enough. So I can't really even date you properly. I can't take you out on dates. I don't know how to text you. I don't know how to manage a relationship. I don't know how to manage my time. And you'll say, oh, poor baby. I feel so bad for you. It's okay. I'll pay for everything. I'll manage both of us. I'll schedule both of us. I'll make sure that we go out on dates when we can, right? And you start thinking to yourself, oh, it's because he can't do it. And I feel so bad that he can't do it. So I'll do it for him. And then lo and behold, you're doing everything. Okay. I don't want that for you. So, do all of those 5 points make sense to you guys and why they are so important in order to not be manipulated by men anymore? Okay? Please. We don't want you being manipulated by men anymore. Do all these 5 points make sense? And do you guys have any questions about any of the points that we just discussed? Okay? Inez says, can I rewatch this? You absolutely can, you beautiful soul. You can rewatch this by going over to my YouTube channel, which is just above my head on the top right corner of the TikTok screen. Just type in my name, Tomisin, in YouTube, in the YouTube search bar. You'll see my channel. Go over to the live section. I'm live on YouTube at the same time as I'm live on TikTok. And you'll be able to see this live and rewind it and watch all of the points that we discussed in all of the detail, okay? Right? Don't worry, you're not missing anything. For those of you who are on TikTok, I'm live on YouTube as well, all right? The episode title, it's titled How to Manipulate Men. When you go over to YouTube, you'll see me. I'm still live now, okay? So you'll see it there, right? Does that make sense? By the way, for those of you who are here and you may have a question for me that's more in-depth, more detailed, and maybe slightly unrelated to our specific topic here that we're discussing, you can also go over to the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube, and you can ask me a personal private question that only gets seen by me. If you want my advice on your situation or about your relationship, I can give that to you. You can type out your question to me, send it in to me, and then I respond with a voice message and I send it to your email. So if you want to get my advice in a more detailed way, you can also do that. Once again, that link's in my bio on TikTok and the link in my description on YouTube. Click where it says private relationship advice and it'll take you right to where you're supposed to go, okay? Right? Perma says, how do some women understand this instinctively? You mean like what we discussed here? How do they understand it? Well, I mean, it's over time, right? The same way like the stuff that we talked about in terms of how men will manipulate women is a learned behavior. So over time, they develop tactics that they realize work over and over and over again. And so as it works over and over again, they say, okay, I'm going to put this in my toolbox and my arsenal to be able to get what I want. Right? You just learn behavior. So it's kind of the same concept, right? You learn to not get manipulated by this, by unfortunately having to go through it, and then you realize what it is, and you start realizing when it's happening. Or you join the Players Club, and maybe you start learning all the stuff that we talk about early on in your dating life, and maybe you already know that it's happening because you've already heard about it and studied it by joining our show here, okay? You become like one of the playettes. Is that what we should call it? Like one of the playettes. So you know what's coming and you're already aware by the time he even starts trying to do that, okay? Flower says, I'll post this comment several times today to make sure everyone sees these titles. What do you mean? What titles? What are you referring to? Okay. Essa says, I have a question about the tribe category. How do you talk to your tribe without maintaining boundaries of privacy of the relationship? Well, here's the thing, right? When you talk to your tribe, should be an understanding, if your tribe is full of mature people, that obviously you're not going to share everything, right? You're not going to tell your tribe how big his pee-pee size is. Well, maybe you might. I don't know how you girls like to talk about stuff. But obviously, there are going to be some things you withhold because it's your relationship with him. What I mean by talking to your tribe is they should be updated on at least how things are going in a general sense. Meaning your tribe of close people, this is not an everyone type of thing. This is like 3 or 4 people, maybe 3 or 4 in your life. In some cases, just 1 or 2. Your tribe of people should just be up to date enough that if anything really strange occurs, they can at least reference everything they've heard and know has went on in the relationship to be able to tell you, girl, this doesn't make any type of sense, or you're in the wrong place here, or you might have to recalibrate here, right? They should at least have enough information that when you share with them things, they're not totally lost. So there's a balance there. You don't got to overshare and you don't got to necessarily trauma dump all the time. But they should understand the gist of what's going on in your relationships so that they can advise you and also give their own 2 cents. Now, not in every case you necessarily need to listen to all of those people in your tribe. But like I said, especially when you have multiple people in that tribe, you'll start to notice a theme of what they're all saying or thinking about what you're talking about in your relationship. Okay. And when you notice that theme, that probably means there's some truth to that and you got to start reconsidering what's going on. All right. Henya says a therapist. Theoretically, yes. We can say your therapist can be someone that you go to talk about these things. But one, obviously you're going to have to pay a therapist. And number two, not everyone is necessarily going to be able to access a therapist, okay? That's why I know a lot of times when I talk about different solutions to things, sometimes you guys are thinking, well, Thompson, why don't you ever suggest therapy? I think therapy would be the best way to do that. Yeah, theoretically, therapy is a great way to do a lot of things and accomplish a lot of, things and working through things emotionally, but does everyone have access to therapy? No. So would I actually be helping or benefiting people who don't have access to therapy? Not really, okay? Because what are they going to do with that? So not that therapy doesn't work for a lot of different situations, but I also want to give you guys tactics and strategies to solve your own problems without saying, damn, I got to spend $200 a week on therapy now, or, whatever the cost may be. It's just that's not really going to actually help you get through or work through your situation. You know what I mean? Null says, hey, Tommy, if I don't have a tribe in my town, should I get one before dating? My advice to you is to lock down your tribe. At least find some people that you're aligned with that you can ensure actually have your back. That's always that's your grounding presence that will make dating a lot easier. Whenever you're dating blind or just dating from an isolated standpoint, and it doesn't even have to be friends, they can even be family members. If you have a close sister, or even let's say you're close with your brother or one of your cousins or something like that, as long as we can ensure that the relationship is platonic, that's all we need. Okay, that's the reason that I say it can't be a guy friend, not one of these straight men that are your guy friends and then they secretly have an attraction towards you and want to be with you, because then you're not getting real, truthful information. You're just getting skewed information that's, also factoring in his own motives. I don't want you to be more confused. Okay, so your tribe should be women, right, in your life. And then if they're going to be men, they should be family members. That way we can ensure that it's actually platonic. Okay. So if you live in Alabama, I'm not recommending you do a cousin. Okay. For the rest of you, you can do cousins. But those of you who are in Alabama or the deep South, no cousins, because now we can't ensure if it's actually platonic. Okay. What was the next question here? Stephanie says, I agree. People who have your best interests, some family members don't even. Women are envious. Yeah. So you got to be self-aware enough to understand the difference between your friendships and even family members who actually have your back and are reliable and want the best for you versus the jealous ones, the ones that you'll tell about your relationship and they're just going to poop on it because they don't want you to be in a relationship because they're not happy. Okay. You got to be self-aware enough to know the difference between those people. Okay. That's why it's very important. The tribe is not just something that shows up in your life. You cultivate it over the course of time by figuring out who you're actually aligned to. Okay. Henya says, I got no close friends. Well, we need to start working on putting you out there then so that you can start building some other relationships. I'm telling you, as women, you guys have to, you women have to have support systems that consist of other women. It's very, very, I'm telling you this as a man. It's very, very difficult to date if you have no other support system of other women that you can consider at least one close friend, because you're dating in a place where as soon as you start dating a new guy, he becomes your everything. And it's so hard to date from a detached standpoint. It's so hard to not feel like that man that you start dating is your complete and utter happiness, Because then what are you supposed to do now, right? When you start dating a guy and he's the only guy you hang out with, he's the only guy you spend time with, he's the only guy you talk to about anything. It's so hard when I start telling you about dating and not being detached and being able to have your own life and doing your own thing. It's so hard to actually do that when you start dating a guy and he literally becomes your entire world. Because then you're saying, Tomisin, I actually don't do anything aside from date this man. I don't do anything aside from hang out with him, talk to him, call him, text him. Literally my whole phone, my whole life, my whole everything is just him. How are you possibly supposed to date properly in a place where you actually feel good about yourself and anything that happens in a relationship doesn't send you down a spiral if he really is only your only sole source of happiness? Okay, so I'm not saying that you got to beg people to be your best friend or anything, but if you haven't found your tribe of people yet, we got to start putting you out there so you can start finding out what groups you gravitate towards, that you like to spend time around. And once you do that, right, you'll start making friends with other women and you'll realize, oh, we're like-minded here, like we're on the same level. And it doesn't always end up being your high school friends or your college friends. Sometimes you'll realize that the people who you went to high school with or college with aren't really your friends because you guys aren't really aligned in your way of thinking and going about life. Sometimes you'll realize the only reason you're friends with those high school or college people is because of proximity. That's fine, okay? Right? I had to go through that and realize that as well. Not all of my high school friends or college friends are still my friends, right? It was more about proximity at the time. Now that I'm an adult, as I put myself out there, I'm able to align myself with people who may not live close to me, but we're on the same wavelength and the same frequency. So we understand each other. And as you build that tribe, right, you'll get those people in your life and you'll be able to turn to those people for advice, to have conversation with them, and to continue to be able to rely on them when you need them, okay? And like I said, it doesn't have to be 30 people. You don't have, trust me, it's not a popularity contest. You don't need to have 30 best friends, okay? You don't even have to have 80 people that you have a 365-day Snapchat streak with. It doesn't have to be like that. It can literally be 1, 2 people in your life that really you can actually count on and rely on in terms of actually being there for you for real, for real. It doesn't have to be a huge amount of people. Great Fortune Cookie says, I have close friends, but my best friend is gay. Every time I meet a new guy, she automatically hates him, so I never tell her anymore. I just deal with these things myself. Okay, so that's a caveat, okay, Great Fortune Cookie, because if your best friend is a woman, but she swings the way of women, now, unfortunately, it's like being friends with a straight man. We can't ensure that the motivations are, in line here. Because if she's attracted to women and she's your best friend, and you start dating other people, we can't ensure that she doesn't have some sort of ulterior motive here where she may or may not have a crush on you. I'm not saying she does or doesn't. I'm just saying now we can't be 100% sure. That's why I don't like that. I don't like the guy friends thing for that exact same reason. Because as much as these guys will try to say, oh, we're friends, me and you together forever since the sandbox, they want to stick their pee-pee in you while they're saying how best friends you are. We talked about the spank tank a couple of weeks ago and how, the spank tank can consist of pictures of the so-called best girlfriend, okay, right? You can be a guy's best friend and you're in the spank tank and he's wanked himself off to your pictures. So, I mean, we just have to be real about it because sometimes, when we're thinking a relationship's platonic because we're not attracted to that person or we don't want that person, that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have those feelings for us. And that's just the reality of life that I have to be super honest with you guys about because that friendship stuff can get really confusing really fast, okay? Suki says, and we barely hang out, but we are pretty close. Also, that should be said as well. The tribe that you have doesn't have to be people that you spend every waking moment with, right? Your tribe of people can be people that you guys have an understanding in your relationship that I can come to you in my time of need, and you can also do that with me as well. We may not talk every single day and keep a Snapchat streak, but me and you have each other's back, okay? So just understand when I'm talking about the tribe, it doesn't have to mean that me and this person talk every day, every second and never get a break from each other. Okay, it doesn't even have to be like that. All right, let's hop into our next segment of the show chat. Our next segment is our React segment, where we're going to be reacting to TikTok videos that you guys have sent to me from around the universe about love, life, and relationships. By the way, after we do our React segment, you know we're going to hop into our Discord time. So please, if you have a question for me that you want answered and you want me to answer it on the show, put your question into our Discord relationship advice forum. The way you access that is by going to the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description, and then click our Players Club Discord. Pop your question into the relationship advice forum, and I'm going to answer all of those questions at the end of the show. For now, we're going to do our reacts segment of the show. Spam up your camcorder emojis, spam up your baby oil emojis, spam up your, that's all I can think of. Camcorder, baby oil, whatever. Anyways, let's hop into this, and we're going to watch an intermission video that comes from Stefan Speaks. He's going to talk to you guys about, how to find your soulmate using these 7 keys. I'm gonna clean up just for a moment, and I'm gonna join you guys back in literally a second, okay? And he's gonna talk to you guys while I clean up a little bit.
Okay, and so I wanna help you be able to identify when you have come across that soulmate. And in the context of God, like how would we apply the soulmate ideology to God? The way that I see it is that though they may not be this person that you are guaranteed you're gonna end up with, right? God still knows who is truly best for you. And when we include God in the process, we can end up with the person who is truly best for us as you are best for them, okay? But again, I still want you to know some of the signs or be aware of the signs that will help you identify when you may indeed have your soulmate right in front of you. So let's get right to it. And one of the first, if not possibly the biggest sign, or at least one of the biggest signs, is that you will be able to be yourself with them. Now, here's the reason why this is one of the biggest signs to me, is because so many people are dating and they're not bringing their true self, they're bringing their representative, okay? Excuse me. And unfortunately, people are bonding or experiencing chemistry with this representative that isn't true to who this individual is, as well as you are not showing who you truly are. And that creates a lot of problems. There are a lot of people, a lot of women who have allowed their representative to stick around long enough to where they drew this man in, where they were able to proceed into a relationship, even get married. But the reality is that you cannot suppress your true self forever. At some point, it will come out. And when it comes out, it will create conflict, either conflict within you, conflict with your partner, because now they're seeing another side of you that may not be in alignment with who they are and what they truly want. And some people, because I feel like I'm hearing someone say it in my head right now. Some people will say, well, if someone truly loves you, like they can accept the changes. Not necessarily true. Because again, if they fell for you off of a false pretense, then expecting that they will stick around when the true you may be completely different than what you presented, well, that's a problem. And so a lot of people end up getting what they want, but not ending up with the person they truly need or are best for them because they weren't being themselves. So if we're talking about identifying your soulmate, well, it starts with being who you are. And understand that the soulmate, this person who's best for you, will embrace who you are. If anything, like being true to yourself is one of the greatest weeding out processes that you can have while dating, because you want to make sure this person.
Mr. Stefan Speaks, thank you for our little intermission time. We're gonna hop right into our segment here, our React segment. Now, I do actually want to.
A lot of women want to know why men don't.
So annoying.
You sent him the text.
Marrying for money when you love money.
Sorry, chat. I want us to watch something together. Not me. Okay. So I saw this video literally as I was preparing for the show. And I saw that it had 2.4 million likes. And it just was titled, I was married to a serial offer, unaliver. And I said, you know what? clearly this was meant for our show. I need to save this. We need to watch this together. So I have not watched this. All I have seen is the first part of the thing here, and we're going to watch this story together. I have no idea where this is going to go.
I was married to a serial killer for 7.5 years. All my videos have been in Arabic to reach the Arabic community. So basically the serial killer, he tried to kill me many times. He tried to kill my sister many times. And then he got caught with 3 bodies in his apartment in a torture chamber. And he's very known in Egypt and the Arab world. And this was recent. This was like 7 months ago. So he had kidnapped my son from me 3 years ago. And anytime I tried to get him, he would basically try to kill me and try to ruin my life and try to find me. Like, I'd be at places and he'd just show up and I'd have to run. It was just a flippin' nightmare. So finally, when he got caught this May, end of May, they locked him up. He's gonna get hung very soon, hopefully. But the problem is, whenever he got locked up, he told the police that I was dead. So his mom took my son, and till now it's been 7 months. I haven't seen my son, haven't heard from my son. She's kidnapped him. I filed all police papers, all court papers. I have full custody. I have educational custody. I have every single right. I just could not find this woman. So I just need the English world to hear my story, because very soon I'm going to be on a big channel, like something very big that we all have in our house. And you're going to hear my story. But I really hope before that happens, I get my son back, which I'm dying, honestly. I'm like dying to see him. I'm dying to talk to him again. I just need as much exposure as possible. And this lady might be in America. She might be still in Egypt. But who knows? Who knows? I need to find her. And I need everyone's help as much as possible. If you go to my older videos, you'll find pictures of my son. I have put pictures of her there. So if you want to take a look, and if anyone can help me, if any media sources can help me to get my story out there, to help me find my son that I have full rights to, please help me. So I was married to...
Okay. Oh wow. All right. If you guys want to support her, her name here is When Bored Dumbstruck. Like literally when boredom. So when the word, bored the word, like boredom. So BOREDOM, struck. STRUCK. If you guys want to support her on this is her TikTok video, obviously, but I'm sure she's gonna make more videos and tell her story. So I guess we'll keep track of that, and you guys can send me stuff if she ever, you know, tells the whole full story there, okay, of her situation. Let's go into our videos here that we're gonna
So I was
watch.
married to a serial killer.
Oops.
You said
I really don't like that it does this.
What should we do tonight?
Hey, we should go to dinner.
What should we do tonight?
Hey, we should go to dinner. As friends. Or a first date. A friend date. Turn into lovers.
What should we do tonight?
Hey, we should go to dinner. As friends.
This is like Gen Z humor, right? Don't have friendships like this, because that's just confusion town. That's 101. Don't have no friendships like this. None like this, please. None like this. This is exactly what I'm trying to get you to avoid.
you said
I hope we didn't skip any. Oh yeah, we
I woke
have
up
to.
this morning feeling like horse manure, so I figured that this would be the perfect time to tell you guys about my worst date that I've ever been on. Just a few weeks ago, I matched with this man on Hinge. He was a very, tall glass of water. I wanted to do some more investigation just to make sure that this guy was
The stories are getting more tragic today. They're very tragic today. Hinge, we already know it's going to be bad.
not, a catfish. So I went onto his Instagram that was linked in his bio and, did some digging. The first few photographs that he had on his Instagram were just great. And then I continued to do some more scrolling. And of course, that's when the problems started to arise. I noticed multiple photographs of him and his family dressing up with Santa every single year. One year they all dressed up as elves. Another year they all dressed up as characters from Home Alone. Another year they all dressed up as characters from A Christmas Story. One year they all had ugly Christmas sweaters on. And they went like full out, like full prosthetics. This family, they really take Christmas very seriously. And at
Clearly.
first, I thought it was cute. I was like, wow, a family with personality. This guy has like an 8-pack and, you know, his family seems to be funny and have a great sense of humor and loves Christmas, which is like, that's fine, right? Then he begins our conversation on Hinge. He was like, hey, Jess, have you been to a Christmas bar yet in the city? I really need to go to one because I'm really feeling the Christmas spirit. I was like, you know.
Is this like a Christmas fantasy he has? He wants to do it in a Christmas sweater? What's going on? He wants her to wear Christmas underwear with bells on it? What's going on?
You know what? Yeah, sure. Why not? I've actually never been to a Christmas bar, so let's check out the vibes. He was like, great, I'll wear my Christmas suit. Thinking that he's
Okay, is this actually a Christmas fantasy he has? What is going on here?
joking. And I was like, oh, you don't have to do that. You really don't have to do that. He was like, okay, not on the first date, but I'll wear my Christmas sweater. I thought he was
Okay, this is sounding really weird. I was joking at first about the Christmas kink. It sounds like a Christmas kink. I don't know what to say. Have any of you ever been with, oh, I take that back. Chat, we're never going to talk about this again. Chat, I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. We're never going to talk about this again, okay? I actually mean this. Never, don't rewind this. Don't show this to your friends, nothing. I had a friend, right? And she was telling me about one of her friends. And she was like basically explaining to me how one of her friends has the weirdest thing ever. She was like, my friend really likes to watch corn videos of people dressed as the Grinch. And I was like, what? She was like, no. Like, I actually mean it. She specifically seeks out videos of men who are, you know, doing their thing, PP out, but they're wearing a full green Grinch suit. And she loves it. Like, it's not a joke. It's not a ha-ha. It's not. She actually loves it to the point where she wants a guy to dress up as the Grinch and do her. And you know me, I'm just like, oh, I see it. Explain it to me. Yeah, the thought I'm never judging. Okay, so yeah, I was just like, oh, wow. That was one, when I heard it, I was like, you know what? That is a new one. I've heard a lot of things because I ask a lot of questions. That one was a new one for me. Okay. I've heard some strange things since then, but that was one that stuck in my mind for sure.
was joking about that, but he came to the Christmas bar in his Christmas sweater. Literally, this is what he does whenever he walks in through the door and I see him for the first time. Jess? And he exposes the Christmas sweater that he is wearing. So I'm like, wow, this guy just really loves Christmas.
This sounds like a thing, you know, like a KINK. This is not an I love Christmas type of vibe. The amount of times she's even said Christmas is making me feel like this is a thing. This is not. Chat.
We then go and sit at the bar and we order our Christmas drinks while he asks me all these Christmas questions. What's your favorite Christmas song? Mine's I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. What's your favorite Christmas movie? Oh my gosh. I'm like, what? Why is your whole person...
Okay, I'm sorry I keep pausing it, but it's so weird. And I said it at the beginning. I'm like, why does this sound like a relish? You know what I mean? It just is. That's weird.
Personality Christmas. Just like everything is adding up. Of course, this is too good to be true. I need to get out of here. So I go into the bathroom that's just reeks of manure. I'm calling up my friend. I'm like, hey girl, you have to like fake you being sick or something because I am trapped at this horrific Christmas obsessed guy date and I gotta get out of here. So she's like, oh yeah, girlfriend, I got you. So I go back and sit with him at the bar as he's drinking his candy cane espresso martini. I told my friend to wait 5 minutes for her to call me and then I'll be able to get out of there and hey, no one gets hurt. And right as this man pulls out his phone and tries to show me his Christmas home video from 2008. Oh my gosh, it's my friend. She's been feeling really sick. I'm sorry. I really have to take this. Hey girl, what's up? So I turned to my date. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My friend, she's in the hospital. I have to go help her. She's my homegirl. And my date goes, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Hey, I'll call you an Uber and I'll wait outside with you. No, it's fine. I can go. I'm in a hurry. Sorry. So we close out from the bar. He walks me to the street corner as I order my Uber home. Mind you, my body language is like not body languaging. I am faced away from him. I'm like, you're him, I'm me. I'm like this way. Like this Uber, it cannot come soon enough. And so what does he do? He grabs my waist, pulls me in, forces a kiss on me, and I pushed him away. I just started to awkwardly laugh, and then thank God my Uber rolls right up. I hop right in, and I'm like, Merry Christmas, sir. So 10 minutes later, this guy texts me. He ends up biking home because he lived really super close to the Christmas bar. How convenient for him. He's like, Jess, I hope you made it home safe and I hope your friend is okay. I had a really great time with you. Let me know whenever you want to go out on our next date. Like, can you not read the brown? I think he was touched with the tiz. So I'm like, hey man, yeah, thank you for the magical, life-changing, Christmas spectacular date tonight. I just don't think that I can focus on dating right now. I just really, really hope you have a great rest of your year and a great Christmas. And he says, okay, Jess, well, whenever you are ready, I'll be here. And now that I tell the story, I actually kind of like feel bad because he was a nice guy. He just really loved Christmas a little too much. For a 30-year-old man to be that into Christmas, I can't. And that, my pals, was the worst date I have ever gone on in New York City. Can't wait.
I don't know why this amuses me because it's like so it's like in a weird way innocently stupid that it's comical but at the same time sad, but like yeah, it's just that feels very much whenever I hear stuff like that though, it feels very actual to me. Like that doesn't feel like something that someone I just love Christmas that much. Like when you love it that much, I always assume that it's gotta be a thing for you. Like you wanna put on the Christmas sweater while you're jackrabbing yourself inside of a woman. You wanna be full out in your Christmas suit, jingle bells, mistletoe everywhere. A house dressed up in Christmas everything while you're doing anything. Okay, you might put a candy cane inside her. Like when it's that Christmas, you're that Christmas jolly. It's making me feel like your whole body is jolly whenever you hear the word Christmas. Christmas might be a dirty word or dirty talk. That makes me think, chat. Since we're all adults here, one of these days, we might have to all share like what's the weirdest KINK you've ever had realize that a guy has when talking to him, because clearly this guy is very into Christmas, and I'm curious if there's anything weirder than the Christmas one. Okay.
I don't know if you sent him the text, got no reply.
What is this? We're gonna skip ahead.
I don't know if this is gonna come out right, but I'm gonna try. I need you to develop some stoicism and some grit as a woman. A lot of women ask me but why should I if he doesn't, and he's lying on the couch and he's not doing this and that and the other.
Someone said a hair one. His thing was for your hair. Okay. Like wrap it around himself.
One, and I've already tried, so listen to me, you've got this one precious life to live. Do you understand the likelihood of you even being born was billions to one? Like you were chosen to be born, and here you are alive, okay? And it's scary. There's all these things like women have to be 25 and men cheat anyway. And then if you get a good guy, he's lying on the couch, and then my comments are flooded with, oh, he's going to cheat anyway. He's going to do this. I did this and he did this anyway. Your whole role in life, listen to me, your whole role in life is to use the gifts that you've been given to make the best out of yourself. What does it matter if you've done the best out of yourself, if you've done all these things, become the best version of yourself, and then he cheats anyway? Fine, put him in the bin. In the bin. That's fine. But you are now a better version of who you used to be. You are now on the trajectory of being on your deathbed when you're 99, God forbid, God hope that happens for you, that you live that long, and go, man, I used this life.
Sorry, if you see me making faces, honestly, it has nothing to do with Margarita. I'm just reading the comments. Sorry.
in the best way I could. There was no talent I had that went to waste. Why don't you want to be the best version of yourself? Deploy some stoicism, deploy some wisdom, use your skills that you have in life. What kind of statement is that? Well, if he doesn't, then I meant, who is he? Was he born attached to you? Are you like together in the, like, have some ownership over yourself, have some ownership over who you are and what you can achieve. Don't you see that if you just develop and become better and better and better and better, that you might not even want him in the end anyway? It doesn't matter what he does. That's not your job. When I advise you to, let's say, praise a man for the good things that he does do, and you come back and you say to me, yeah, but he doesn't do that to me. So what? It's now made you a better human being to praise another human being. And do you know what happens from gratitude? Do you know what happens from gratitude about something? That thing amplifies. Do you know what happens from your complaining? That thing amplifies.
So, in terms of what I take from this, and what I think you guys can take from what she's saying is, part of the way we strategize here in the Players Club, and we talk about these different things and how men respond to this and respond to that, and how to get what you want from them, is about controlling what you can control. Okay, because yes, in relationships, it's not just you in the relationship in isolation. Obviously, you're in the relationship with the guy. And in some scenarios, you might strategize, you might try things, you might do things, and they don't work out exactly as you strategized or planned for them to work out. But, right, you have to realize you can only control what you can control. So strategizing is like one part or piece of that, where you understand how they respond to things and how to get yourself as close to success as possible, which is good, right? You want to be doing that. But you also have to understand, in putting yourself in a position to win, sometimes you might still lose, but that's okay. The strategy doesn't end, and that doesn't mean that you start saying to yourself, well, because I tried it one time and it didn't work for me, I'm just going to say F it, and I'm going to go in all my relationships blind with no strategy because nothing works. Well, you'll lose a lot more, and then you'll be even more upset. Okay, so don't do that. Control what you can control. Okay, none of these.
A lot of women want to know why men don't give them closure at the end of a relationship. Sis, he ain't giving you closure because he ain't trying to close it all the way.
Not only that, but if the man who's already been giving you a lack of presence or action has to give you closure, he knows for a fact that the closure that he would give you would be rooted in telling you that he was pursuing you for one specific reason. If you never receive closure from a guy, they know the outcome of telling you the truth, because they know for a fact in the pit of their soul that it's nothing that you would ever adhere to. So oftentimes they're just substituting another reason to give you some fixed closure to mask the real reason. Something that sounds a bit more feasible and appealing for you to hear, but still leaves a silver lining. Something that leaves a little bit of hope for their return. And this reasoning is never rooted in being with you long term. It kind of reminds me somewhat of that one video, the woman saying men don't cheat because they want to leave, they cheat because they want to stay. Which sounds crazy at first, but if you've ever been around men in a conversation, it doesn't sound too far off. It's not necessarily they stay because they care, but they're staying because of the benefits. And oftentimes what y'all women don't realize is that if a man could test your thresholds by exercising his options while you still occupy the space around him, he could have you with no strings attached. To be 100% realistic with y'all, the amount of emotionality that you're applying to him in this specific scenario, he's applying the exact opposite to you. For this to work for him, he needs to be devoid of emotions just as much as you're applying it to him. So when you put it in that perspective, you can see why this would be a recipe for disaster. A man who primarily benefits from your reaction will never genuinely hand over closure or transparency, because that'll go against his whole temporary goal that he had in the first place.
So what he's trying to break down for you is, when you're thinking to yourself you want closure from a guy, you're thinking, okay, I want closure because I want to understand why you did this, why you acted this way, and how we got to this point from your own perspective. That way we can both move on and be clear and, know what happened. The problem is, though, guys don't actually want to provide you with that information, because that would consist of them revealing how they really feel about you, number one, which could mean that they're revealing that they only just wanted to use you and take advantage of you. And number two, providing you with closure actually allows you to move on, which kind of defeats the purpose of them being with you. When guys have you in any capacity, especially when they sleep with you, they never want to let go of their grip on you and their grip on your soul and your spirit. They always want to have ongoing control and power over you. So because of that, they don't want to give you closure that will allow you to actually properly move forward. They want to continue to make you feel like either there was some external circumstance that was causing the relationship to not work, or there's some sort of door cracked open that could possibly mean maybe the two of you in another universe, in another life, could be together again. It's all just a load of malarkey. When you're a but I feel bad type of person, but your best friend is a do you think they feel bad type of person, facts. That's exactly why we talked about this today. This is exactly why you need a tribe, so that they can balance you out and you'd be like, oh yeah, I forgot. That's not what we're doing.
Here's why you can't find a boyfriend. I'm a relationship scientist. I've matchmade hundreds of thousands, including celebrities and some of the most eligible.
This guy's probably way smarter than me. Every time he comes on this screen here, when we react to one of his videos, he reminds us he's a relationship scientist. It's basically like he's telling you guys that, hey, the guy you're listening to on this screen, he don't know what he's talking about. I'm a scientist with glasses, not this guy.
And here is science. 52% of adult women are single, and this is nearly double than what it was over a couple decades ago. I see this stuff every day. The two clients that have the most difficult time finding compatible connections are beautiful women and successful women. And the women at the top are often both beautiful and successful. At the end, I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to find your most compatible connections. So here's the thing, right? Here's how you solve this. The man you're looking for, your most compatible connection, is probably not on a dating app. The most successful men don't have time.
What did that relationship scientist just say?
To swipe. Even if they're on there, probably not going to see your profile. And the most beautiful women are getting matches on dating apps for the wrong reasons. How are you supposed to know that someone's your most compatible connection just based on the photo? So here's what you got to do. There are two things you need to be doing to find your most compatible connection. The first is about being in the right places at the right time and with the right people. Everyone wants to meet someone in person, but are you really making yourself approachable? It's dead simple. You got to be making eye contact with the people you like. And if you make eye contact with the same guy a couple times and he still doesn't make a move, he's probably not your guy anyways. But that's the thing. Eye contact is the number one thing to get a guy you want to come talk to you. The second way you find your most compatible connection, you should be using a match.
Side note, for me personally, eye contact always works for me. In fact, the women who do eye contact well, they shoot 100% from the field for me. For at least, okay? So I feel like we kind of understate the power of eye contact as a woman, because if you can do that well, you're gonna be shooting a very high percentage. I'll be honest with you.
Matchmaker. Join their free databases. Every matchmaker has a free database. You fill in all your information, and when one of their paid clients is a compatible connection for you, they'll let you know.
Okay, the rest of this and that. But yeah, I think that a couple of the things that he said I do actually agree with, which is one, the dating app thing. Not that dating apps, it's not possible to have a successful relationship on there, or there is never going to be a good man on there. You just have to understand the function of dating apps actually lends itself to being a place, an environment where all of the men who want things quick and easy will spend a lot of time. Because think of this logic. If I have two different options as a man to meet women, one of them is get up out of bed, brush my hair, shave my face. I need to shave my face, get a haircut, put on new boxers that don't have nut stains on them. Okay. Make sure my clothes aren't wrinkled, go out to the club, get my bank account and money together, because I'm going to pay for drinks and pay for a girl's drinks. I'm going to find a girl. I'm going to have a chat with her. I'm going to be charismatic, going to be interesting, going to get her number, going to hopefully take her back home, or at least want her to see me again another time and then take her on a date. Versus saying, oh, cool, I want to meet some women. I'll just open up my phone. I'll take my index finger and I'll just go left and go right. And eventually I'll see some girls that I like. And on top of all of that, this is like the cherry on top for the guys, as it relates to the dating apps. They never even have to face rejection. Because think about this. When you're swiping right and left on dating apps, the only people you match with and even have conversation with are people that you've matched with, meaning people that already like you. All the people that swiped left on your profile, you never even talked to them or had a conversation or knew that they didn't like you. So now it's like a double whammy. It's so much easier, and you also don't have to face any rejection as a guy. So where do you think all the guys who want it quick, easy, and don't want to face rejection will go? To dating apps. So who do you think you meet a lot of? The quick, as we call them, microwave men on the dating apps. It's the perfect environment. It's the perfect stew for them to exist in, okay? All right, chat, let's hop into our next segment of the show. I know that all of you OG Players Club members know exactly what's coming right now. Some of you that are new here maybe have no idea what's coming right now. It's okay. They're going to spam it up in the chat. And they're going to tell you exactly what's happening now because it's an amazing time. It's an awesome time. It's a time where you're going to laugh and cry. Don't look at your watch. It's Friday. Don't look at your phone. No, I'm supposed to say it's don't look at your watch. Don't look at your clock. Don't look at your phone. Don't look nowhere else in your entire home. If you don't know the time, I'm going to tell you the time. It's Discord time. Okay. Enough of that. All right, chat. Let's hop into our Discord segment of the show. For those of you who are unaware of like what any of that was, I'm going to explain to you what Discord time is. Discord time is essentially where all the amazing members of the Players Club community get an opportunity to ask me a question about their relationship or situationship, and I answer it live on the show. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can send in your question, and I'm going to explain them to you. First of all is by sending in your question to our free relationship advice forum, which is available in the link in my bio on TikTok or the link in my description on YouTube. You can get and send in your question, but it is a first come, first serve basis here. So that means that as I go through, you see these highlighted questions. That means I haven't answered them yet, and I have to get them to these questions first before I get into yours, okay? So if you are an impatient type of person and you can't wait for me to answer your question, that's perfectly fine. We also have another option for you to submit your question. That way is through our premium Discord relationship advice forum. That is available to you by going to the link in my bio on TikTok or link in my description. You click premium Discord relationship advice. You donate to the show first. And while you donate to the show, it's going to prompt you to put in the title of your question and the title of your username. And then when you do that, I get a notification on my phone. I see that that's you in your question there. Then when you drop in your question, I know and can verify that you're supposed to be there because these questions I read out before I go to the free section. So it's like a skip the line pass, okay, for people who really want their question answered in the next 48 hours and they don't want to wait. Now, for those of you who want to ask me a question, but you don't want to have it read out live on the show and have your information read on the show, you can also send me in what we call a private relationship question, which is in the Discord here. That link's in there. It's also in the link in my bio on TikTok and the link in my description on YouTube. You can go to where it says private relationship advice, and you can ask me a question, submit it to me via text. I respond with a voice message and I send it back to your email. No one else sees it. Okay. So let's hop into our first question here, premium question, which comes from Anon Girl. So Anon Girl says, too successful for most men my age. All right. As a 25-year-old woman who has achieved significant career and financial success, makes over $100K salary, and is really ahead in my career for my age, lives in a fancy apartment, has a fancy car, big savings for my age, has traveled on beautiful vacations around the world, I'm finding that many men my age don't align with my current stage in life. I'm considering dating older men, 5 to 10 plus years my senior, in search of a compatible life partner, marriage, and kids. What should I be looking for in terms of green flags and red flags when dating older men, especially in the context of long-term compatibility, shared values, and potential power dynamics? For context, here is a few experiences that I have had that have led me to this conclusion. I've gone on various hinge dates with many men from the ages of 26 to 32 over the past year. The ones that are more successful seem like they don't want a real relationship. I'm gonna tell you the reason for that. I think because they feel that they can just buy options and aren't mature enough to value long-term commitment. You're smart, Cookie. The ones that are less successful are at first captivated by my beauty, intelligence, passion, drive, but then it all falls off, I think, because they are insecure, precisely. From my own experience, I would like to date a man who is more financially successful than me, so that when I have kids, I can maintain the same lifestyle and I can provide for myself while being a stay-at-home mom. I want to be in my feminine energy in my romantic relationship. Another thing I have noticed as I have gone on dates is that men around me will be impressed by me and then try to pretend that they have more than they actually do. Security, money, career advancement, etc. I've been fooled into thinking a man was making $180K and a partner in a company to only come to find out that he had less than 10K in personal savings and nothing else in his name. To his name. I, of course, broke it off immediately. How do you discern the frauds from the real deal as quickly as possible so they do not waste my time? Okay. This is going to sound a little bit strange to answer your question there, but I know that you know what you're looking for. Okay. So that's not the issue here. What we're trying to do is, one, we're trying to sniff out the bad men, like the men that you're not looking for. We don't want you to get tricked by people who pretend. And we also kind of want to make the process of dating as efficient as possible, meaning you spend as little time with the guys you don't want as possible, and you spend the most time with the guys that are in line with what you do want. So one of the ways that you're going to do that is, first, when you go out on dates, you're an information specialist, meaning you're only concerned from date 1 to date 2 to date 3. You should come ready to ask questions. And I'm not talking about coming ready to ask questions as if, you have a notebook and you're like, you need to tell me this and tell me that and tell me this and tell me that. What I want you to start doing is, because I know you don't get to having a job that pays you $100K salary by being someone who just goes off emotion. You're probably more analytical and logistical in your approach to life, okay? Which is good. But when it comes to dating men, in order for you to properly extract good information, you want to hypnotize them by casting a spell on them. The way that you cast a nice feminine spell on them is by hypnotizing them through the aspect of, oh my God, you are so fascinating and interesting to me. It's literally making me wet. You're not actually going to say that, but that's the type of energy you need to bring to your dates so that he can be hypnotized by the fact that you're so interested in him that he begins spilling all of this information about himself. As you're learning that and gathering that information, you can be deciding to yourself, is this actually the kind of guy that I want to be with, or is this not? Okay? Because you're in the business of gathering more and more information. Men won't respond positively, though, if you approach it from the standpoint of, so Tomisin told me that I should ask this question and that question and that question. So I have exactly 67.58 questions to ask you, and I need you to answer all of them in 3 sentences or more. Can you go right now? We only have 2 hours. Okay? They're not going to respond to that type of energy. They're going to feel as if they're being attacked, and they're going to shut down on you. So you really, if you want to start getting good at getting your information, you got to be in your feminine, and you got to bring that seductive, sexy therapist energy where I'm so fascinated by you. I want to know more about you. Oh my God, as you tell me about your life, it's literally getting me lubricated. I don't think I can control myself anymore. That's the type of listening you want to be doing. That's the type of body language you want to be giving them when they're talking about themselves and talking about their life. They should walk away from having a date with you feeling like they're the most interesting man on this entire planet. Okay, that's the feeling you want to implant in them. Okay, obviously, someone said no pineapples. Obviously, you're not going to sleep with a man. So that's the energy you want in order to extract information and weed out men. Now, as it relates to what you're looking for, there's nothing wrong in a sense of what you're looking for, which is a man just more successful than you. Of course, you're looking for a very particular balance, though, because men who have, let's say, who are millionaires or billionaires, especially when they know that they're in a lot of women want them, they have a lot of resources and a lot of options. A lot of times those, when you get to, let's say, like the 40-year-old millionaires and even some billionaires, the really wealthy men, and they're fairly attractive and they have all of those resources, they actually know that it's better for them to date from a non-committed standpoint because they know a lot of women will be willing to deal with that because of how much they have. You know what I mean? So I think instead of looking so much further older than you, I know you said only 5 to 10 years, what you want to kind of be looking for more than even just age is mindset. Because at 25, you might still meet a man who will eventually become a millionaire, but he's just not there yet. So I actually think the better way to go about dating is instead of necessarily dating for a man who is a millionaire right now, even though I'm not saying don't date, I'm not saying date a broke man. I want you to start dating more for mindset. So when you date a guy, if you hear that he has a plan for his life, and what he wants to do with his life and how he wants to get there. And he has goals that you're like, okay, these are real goals. But then as you continue dating him and observing his life and what he does in his life, you start noticing that he's actually putting all of those goals that he had, he's doing all the steps necessary to get there. And he's actually progressing in his life, and slowly but surely. At a good pace, and you're noticing that consistency, that's the man you kind of want to align yourself with, because then he can be more in a place where he does want commitment and he's not just, oh, I'm a millionaire, I'm going to do things my way, how I want to do it. But he's also in a mind state where eventually he will get success. And trust you me, any man who has clear focus and goals and knows how to take the necessary steps on an everyday basis to get there and progress towards his ultimate goal, he will eventually be successful. So that's a given, okay? You don't have to worry about him being successful if he has that mind state. Now, if he doesn't, that's a totally different story. But I think that that's kind of the happy medium in terms of the type of guys you'll be looking for. Because if you go too far into the extreme of saying, I want a man who's already a millionaire, you're going to find a lot of men who don't even want to be in a committed relationship because they know that a lot of women will easily just, say, yeah, we'll have a one-sided open relationship because you have a lot of money type of thing. So those men will be hard to deal with, right? And of course, you don't want to be with a man who's broke. So what you want, you're looking for a happy medium of a man who can support himself and is doing well for himself. Maybe he doesn't have the 100K a year job, but he's got a 70K a year job. And the money he does have, he's saving it towards doing a business or doing whatever with his life. You understand what I'm saying? And building something, right? He has a plan in place to have more for his life and to build off of. And he's actually implementing that plan. That's the key element that I think you should be focusing on, because especially if you're meeting a man around your same age, they still have some years that they can really make drastic jumps in, their earning income, right? Their earning capability, I guess we could say. But it all matters the man, right? And because trust me, there are some CEOs that at one point, they weren't the CEO. Okay. And they were doing things and making non-CEO money. So the way to become a CEO is by having the vision and the mindset of a CEO before you even get there. So just understand that in dating men, that the mindset is the number one thing that you should be looking for and looking at. Of course, you don't want them to be broke, but that's the key element, and especially implementing, in practicing his actual goals as well, right? Plan and course of action. That's the number one thing. All right, let's go into our second question here. Our second question comes from Where the Sun Rise. Okay, Academia Saga. All right. Okay. Is this happening? Is this a library thing here going on? Hello, Tomisin. Apologies for creating the thread in the wrong place. I can't delete it now. It's okay. English is not my first language, so please excuse any mistakes. I'll try my best to explain. I'm a 33-year-old divorced woman with a 7-year-old child. I own my apartment, have a stable job, and a supportive circle of family and friends. I work in a university administration and met a professor at the beginning of the fall semester. Okay. So another professor at the school. He's 14 years older than me. Wait. Oh, okay. Divorced with 2 grown kids, 18 and 22. Okay. He asked me out for lunch, and I enjoyed his views on life after asking him many questions. He told me he didn't want to remarry while his kids were young because he didn't want to traumatize them with a third person. Now that they're adults, he says he's ready to explore intimate relationships again. We started going out, and he has been very gentle, never rushing anything. He always paid for our dates, took me on a one-day getaway. He was there for work. And when I hesitated to share a room, he booked me a separate one, even though the hotel was pricey. He also has been thoughtful, giving me gifts regularly. Now, here's my concern. He's going on a 6-month sabbatical in the US. We both live and work in Europe. What part of the US? Please don't say Miami. If you say Miami, we're going to have some problems. He's originally from a Middle Eastern country, but only goes back there in the summer to visit his mother. The sabbatical has been on my mind, and it's the one reason why I haven't allowed things to become intimate. In the 3 months we've been dating, we've only kissed and hugged. I told him that I'm only interested in a serious marriage type of relationship and not something casual. I also learned that he had a 3-year situationship, okay, with a woman in his home country while teaching there. That relationship ended because he didn't take the next step, marriage. Towards the end of the semester and his departure approached, he never spoke about his plans or our future as a couple. This is 6 months he's going on this sabbatical. This made me nervous, especially considering his previous situationship and his increasing desire for intimacy. I told him that the speed of intimacy was making me tense and I wanted to pause things until he returned. Oh, you're smart. That's honestly what I would have advised you to do, because you're not going to judge him or tell him that, he's, lying about anything. But let's make sure we're not confused. A 6-month sabbatical, meaning he's going to be gone for 6 months. A lot can change in 6 months. So I would have advised you to do the same thing. Don't rush nothing going on, especially not sleeping with him, because let's see what happens after he comes back from the 6 months. Let's see if he's still the same person and still feeling the same way about you. He then invited me out for lunch, but I declined, explaining that we both work with people who know us and I didn't want to give the wrong impression. He said he understood. A week later, he messaged me saying he missed me a lot, but still there was no mention of commitment. I hope you don't make any mistakes here. A week after that, I stopped by his office to say hi. Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh, please. You've been doing well. But considering all his efforts and kindness, over the past 3 months, this sounds like justification. I'm getting nervous. I thought it would be okay. We had a brief chat and he asked me out for lunch again, but I declined once more. Last week, 6 days ago, I attended a wedding and sent him a picture of a chimney. He loves chimneys. What's going on today? Everyone has their own, everyone's a little bit weird in their own way. I'm not going to judge. First we had the Christmas sweater. Now this one loves chimneys. I don't know. Why does he like chimneys? He likes to put his, never mind. He responded warmly, saying he wished he was there with me. Like there with you, like you next to him, or like in the chimney. However, since then, I haven't heard from him. He hasn't reached out, and I know he'll leave in a few days. I can't help but feel like everything is lost. I'd really like a male perspective on this. Did I handle things the right way? Why might he have stopped reaching out? For context, the only red flag, I've noticed, if even there is one, is that he is a very ambitious person, whereas I'm more laid back. Once he told me, "You have potential, but you're lazy." He actually said that to you? Okay. Okay. I took it very badly at the time, but he later apologized. I mean, him apologizing doesn't mean that he doesn't actually think that. So just let's be clear. Other than that, he's been kind and gentle, cooking for me, taking me out, buying me flowers, and even bringing me lunch when I was busy at work. Okay. I'm going to mention something. It's a little bit unrelated, but if he's saying this, what this makes me feel like from a guy's perspective, you have potential, but you're lazy. That makes me feel like he has a very particular type of woman he's thinking about when he's thinking about getting remarried. Okay, married again. He's basically taking notice of the fact that you don't fit that. Because I just don't think that a guy bringing this up like this is random, especially when you're saying what you've observed of him is that he's a very ambitious person. Okay. So if you're noticing that about him and then he's bringing this up to you, even though it's, something that would obviously hurt your feelings, that means he's really keen on looking for someone who's on that same type of frequency as him. Okay. Not saying that you're a bad person or anything, but if he's noticing that you're not, this could be basically him admitting to the thing that he's using to disqualify you. What I mean by disqualify you from being someone that he would consider actually getting married to. Okay. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the fact that he would pinpoint this makes me feel like he's been thinking about this and observing this of you. So not that you're a bad person or anything, but I feel like in his own mind, he's already used this as his reasoning for disqualifying you from ever actually wanting to marry you. So yeah, he might date you and he might kind of do a thing with you where you guys kind of have some fun. But honestly, I think that this statement here means that he's already disqualified you for those reasons, that you're misaligned with him on that level. Okay. Especially too, as well, because at the age that he's at now, he's not necessarily looking for someone who will be nurturing to his children or be a good mother and things like that, because his kids are already grown. So he doesn't necessarily need a companion that is very mothering and nurturing and maybe some different qualities than he'll be looking for now when all he wants is a companion. And especially, it's funny. Everything kind of works together in a very interesting, ironic way. The title of your message is Academia Saga. And you met this guy and you're a university administrator and he's a professor. So that makes me feel like his personality is someone he really loves the intellectual. And he really loves to be intellectually stimulated by conversation and be fascinated intellectually by the person he's with. He also likes to feel, I'm just making an assumption, that he likes to feel inspired by the person that he's with, right? That motivates him. So it tells me that when he says this, right, he's actually referring to the type of companion he's really looking for. Someone who's as motivated as him, as inspired as him, that he can be inspired from them. That is as passionate as him about things and about life, that he can share that same level of, intellectual interest and conversation. Not that you're dumb or you're stupid or you can't do that. But when he is pointing these type of things out, it makes me feel like he has a narrative in his own mind about you. And based on the type of person you've kind of described him as, it makes me feel like that narrative that he's built in his mind about you is not in line with the type of woman he's envisioning he would actually get married to, at least at this place in his life. Okay. So what it's making me think is this time spent with you. Yes, you're cool. And yes, you're probably a little bit convenient because you work in the university as an administrator, the same one that he works at as a professor. So this kind of is working out in a way that is easy for him. He doesn't have to introduce you to his kids. He doesn't have to put any pressure on the relationship. He can just casually date you when he feels like dating you. And you're obviously living in his area in a place that he's already familiar with, not a lot of pressure for him. So he'll date you as this time is going on, knowing that eventually he's going to go on his 6-month sabbatical and he's open to the possibilities of what will present itself to him when he goes there. So I don't think he has any real intention of committing himself to you. He hasn't mentioned it, not even once. And I also think that this thing that he mentioned at the end here is his already existing disqualification of you. So I think when he ends up going on this 6-month sabbatical to the USA, he will be open to all possibilities, including meeting someone who, just like you, is close to him, maybe works at the same place as him. I'm assuming he's going to be working while he's gone for the 6 months, right? Doing something that he can date in a convenient fashion while he's there. And to be honest with you, I don't honestly think that during the time he's gone for 6 months that he will be trying to maintain a relationship with you in a way that actually makes you feel like when he comes back, he's like ready to commit to you. He might talk to you and reach out to you every now and again just to keep things copacetic so that maybe when he does come back, he can continue to like go out on casual dates with you. But I honestly, based on what you said in your story, I don't think he has any intention of like really making that on the top of his priority list to continue an ongoing relationship with you, unless it's to just maintain it so that he can come back to you and continue dating you and resume it from there. So I think for those reasons, your course of action should be to, if he wants to message you, he can. If he wants to talk to you, he can. And if he doesn't, then you don't talk to him for any reason whatsoever. I think you should kind of under invest yourself here and see if he really wants to reach out, really wants to talk to you, because I don't want you to overextend yourself. And in the process of that, you end up realizing that he doesn't really even want the same thing as you. And you definitely do not let him pressure you into sleeping with him before he leaves. That is a grave mistake. Don't do that. Don't do it. You've already kissed him, right? And things like that. Nothing else. He's not going to get nothing else for him. I don't care if he says, oh, it's 6 months, I'm not going to see you. I don't care if he tells you the most charming love story ever. I don't care if you guys sit together inside the chimney, okay, and look into each other's eyes. Don't give him nothing, especially not when he's leaving in 6 months, okay? Right? All right, let's hop into our next couple of questions here. Make sure I don't skip any. Okay, Issa's question here says, I don't know how men work. Okay. I'm 20 years old. 6 months ago, a guy came up to me from my Insta and I didn't end up giving it to him. I don't post frequently on there and I would have preferred him to ask for my number, to be honest. So then why didn't you just say, I don't have an Instagram? Okay. You know that, okay, I'm not advising you to lie, but like in certain scenarios, like you don't have to always be so forthcoming with everything. So if you don't use Insta a lot and you would rather him to ask for your number, just say, I don't use Insta, or say, I don't have one, however you want to present that. And then he'll say, okay, can I have your WhatsApp? Can I have your number? Can I have your whatever? Until he gets to the one. And then you can say yes. Then I saw him again at a recent party and I'm really nice to girls, but I'm naturally meaner to men. So I basically insulted him that he gets no girls. Okay. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I also mentioned I play golf tournaments. He said he could caddy for me, but I called him too weak, etc. Honestly, that's not the worst thing in the world. You know, if a guy, most guys can take banter. And honestly, I'd rather you do this than praise him. So I don't even mind this. Anyways, he complimented me and asked for my Instagram again. Like I just said, most guys, they actually don't mind the banter. So when you tell them you don't like them, they actually want you more. It's quite ironic. He drove me home the next morning. We didn't sleep in the same room together. Wait. What? I don't understand. You were at a party. He drove you home. How would he even sleep in? Oh. I think you missed a part of the message here. We didn't sleep in the same room together. We both stayed at my friend's house. Why? He drove you home. Why didn't you just go home? Why didn't you just go home? He seemed interested in asking me a lot of questions and was really nice. Anyways, he didn't message me on Instagram, but like a few days later, 9 p.m. on Friday night, he called me. You're 20 years old, so you don't know what that means, okay? Right? If he's only waiting to the weekend to call you, you're the brand new star guest in the SZA song, The Weekend, okay? This is not good. He's calling you on Friday night, meaning this is fun time for him. This ain't no take nobody serious time. We're Friday night at 9 p.m. We're about 2 to 3 hours away from demon time. Okay. Not good. Which is weird. He messaged me to hang out. Then, so I said, sorry, not tonight. I'm glad. Then he said to come to his friend's birthday. I said, I'm not sure, sorry. He said, let me know if you change your mind. I didn't end up going, and I don't know if I'm being dramatic, but I just got thrown off by the random call. I did think he was attractive, but I don't know if I should agree to hang out with him if he asks again. If he asks you to hang out during the week or, during the day at some point, and he does that in a structured manner, meaning he does that before the day of or before the night of, then you can hang out with him. So if he asks you to hang out and he actually plans this at least a day in advance, then you can hang out. No hangouts the day of and no hangouts where he's asking you the night before. Okay? No matter what it is. I don't care if he's taking you to the Empire State Building. No. No. Because anytime he's asking you in the moment, right, or the day of or the night of, it's a very low effort. Which means he's usually looking to extract something for you for minimal effort. And if that's his mindset, then you're not even going to be able to build a good relationship with him anyways. Okay, so if you're noticing this pattern that he only seems to call you out of the blue or FaceTime you whenever it's Saturday or Friday night, and now all of a sudden he's like, yo, come here, pull up to this, pull up to that, he ain't really trying to date you for real. Just being honest with you, okay? So if you notice that a second time, that he does the same thing a second time, especially if we're compounding that with the fact that he's not messaging you throughout the week, that definitely means he's just using you as I want you to pull up on me right now type of thing. But he has no real intention of actually building anything with you or even going out on a date with you, okay? And we don't want that, all right? Let's hop into our next question here. Princess 4D. Okay. Princess 4D says, pics in talking stage. Okay. How do you feel about sending pics in the talking/dating stage? What do you think I'm going to say to this chat? I don't mean sending nude pics. Okay. I just mean pics of your face or of you throughout the day. Okay. That's not a crime. Okay, I thought we were talking about something else. I asked because the guy I'm talking to likes when I send him pics of me, but I wonder if that would take away my allure. Or like your aura, as the kids say. He even asked if I can make a photo album of just me because he thinks I'm so gorgeous and wants to see my face when he misses me. Okay. While it's flattering of him to say that, I'm wondering if I should only let him see me via video call or in person and leave pics of me for my story or on my social media platforms. Does this change if we are exclusive and he becomes my boyfriend? What are your thoughts? My honest advice to you is to do this exactly. If a guy asks you, oh, I want more pictures of you, please send me so much that I have an album of you, just say, first of all, you always want to mention, it's always better to see me in person, right? I always look better in person. And then after that, if he continues on, you say, I'll try if I can remember. But then you just never do, okay? And then he'll continue asking you and just make it keep seeming like you forgot and keep reminding him that it's better to see you in person, okay? The reason I say that is because let him be frustrated with the fact he's not getting enough pics of you, whether it be of your face or your outfit or your body. Someone said it's for the spank tank. It could be, right? It could be for the spank tank as well. You got to refer to another show. We talked about the spank tank where guys will have a photo album to wank themselves off to. And you might be in that, right? Even if you have clothes on in the picture, you might be in that. And, but here's the thing. You are smart. You're a smart cookie. And you brought up what I would have brought up answering this question is that this can become a way that you can play yourself. Because as you send him more and more pictures, you're thinking, oh, I'm doing exactly what he wants by sending him pictures so he can see my face all the time whenever he misses me. But that's not actually what you want. You don't want when he misses you for him to just be able to pull up the album of 1,000 pictures that he has of you, look through them, and be good and be satisfied and be satiated. Then maybe he wanks himself off a little bit. He busts a nut on his phone and, he wipes it off. He says, okay, I'm good now. Then he goes about his day. We don't want that because now you don't get a date out of that. Whenever he misses you or thinks of you, instead of him saying, damn, I miss her so much, I want to see her face again or talk to her, let me ask her out on a date. He says, damn, I miss her so much, I want to see a picture of her. He pulls up the photo album, he busts that nut, and then he goes about his business, right? But that doesn't get you out on more dates. We want you to be out on more dates, as many as possible. So I always advise you to scale back giving guys anything they ask for as it relates to over the phone, whether it be over the phone conversation or pictures, videos of you. I'm not saying that you can never share those things or never give him any of those things, but especially when we're talking about the dating stages leading up to being a boyfriend and girlfriend or being exclusive, we want to give as much incentive as possible to get you out on a date and ask you out on a date. We don't want to keep making guys' lives easier and easier to just not ask you out on a date and just casually talk to you over the phone. The easier you make a guy's life and the more convenient and satiating you make it for him to not have to take you out on a date, the less you'll actually see that, as weird as that sounds. Don't think to yourself when you send him more pictures, he'll remind himself how much he wants to take you out on a date. Send him less pictures so that he can be slightly frustrated with how much he's seeing you or how much he's seeing of you. That way he can say, damn, if I really did want to see more of her, my best bet is to take her out on a date, not for me to continue asking her for pictures because she's going to forget a whole bunch of times because she's doing a whole bunch of stuff and I'm never going to actually be able to see her. Okay. I know that when you like a guy, you're always thinking about how to make him happy and make him satisfied, but you also have to understand you need some things as well. And a lot of times when guys are a little bit frustrated or when they need something from you, that's leverage for you to extract something from him. And in this case, when you're dating guys, it's that you want them to be pursuing you. And sometimes, as weird as it sounds, that pursuit is going to come out of frustration that they don't feel they're getting enough of you. So because they don't feel they're getting enough of you, they feel like it's necessary to take a step forward and ask you out on a date in order to see you and get more of you, whether it be more conversation, more interaction, more photos of you to be able to see your beautiful face and all that really good stuff. Okay? Right? All right, chat, that's the show for today. For those of you who have a question for me, feel free to send it into our relationship advice forum in our Discord, whether it be our free forum or our paid forum. You can send in your question there and I'll answer it live on the show. Okay, and for those of you who want to send me in a private question, you can also do that. That link is in my bio on TikTok or in my description on YouTube. Okay, let me answer this super chat here. Super chat comes from Nicole Cottom on YouTube. She donates $5 in the YouTube chat. She said, Tomisin, stop it. I don't give two flips about his self-proclaimed title nor his glasses. He's not smarter than you, nor does he have Auntie Nicole. Thank you, Mrs. Auntie Nicole, and I appreciate your super chat there. I appreciate all of you beautiful people who donate and watch the show. Okay, for those of you who are on TikTok and you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is just up there on the top left corner of the screen. Is Tomisin_Tub, TOMISIN_ATOB on Instagram. You can follow me there. It's also available in the link in my description there. In my description, sorry. There you can go into my Instagram and find it there if you want to follow me. For those of you who are on TikTok and you missed parts of the show where you came late, you can always rewatch the entire show on my YouTube channel. Just type in my first name, TOMISIN. And on YouTube, you'll find my channel. Go into the live section and you'll be able to see this live stream and all the other live streams I've done since the beginning of time. And you'll also have the YouTube and TikTok chat embedded in the video so you won't miss any of the conversation that we were having on the show, okay? If you're wondering what times I'm here every weekday, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm not going to be here tomorrow because obviously today is Friday, but I will be posting on my main YouTube channel throughout the weekend. And of course, I'll be back live with you all on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? So for all of you playettes, as we can call you, okay, members of the Players Club, have a great rest of your weekend. enjoy life, do good, have fun, go out on dates, right? Don't sleep with men you don't know. And, have a great, safe weekend, okay? Goodbye for now. Arrivederci, adios, hasta la vista, sayonara, ciao, salam, bon voyage! And I'll see you on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? And you can go on my channel. You can watch some of the videos I'm going to post on my main page until you wait, okay? Have a great rest of your weekend. I love you so much. I got to run. I got a lot of stuff to do this weekend, okay? I'll see you later.